Good morning friends. Today we will discuss about the various types of bonding or various kinds of bonding. In the last segment we studied what do you mean by chemical bond, what do you mean by chemical bonding, and we saw the reasons behind chemical bonding. There were two reasons, that is first one to acquire stability and the second was to acquire noble gas configuration. When we were discussing stability, I told you that stability is always inversely proportional to potential energy. And while discussing about noble gas configuration, we saw two types of configuration which is found in noble gases, that is octet configuration and duplet configuration. And further we saw W and causal and Lewis theory, or it is also called electronic theory of valency. So now we will discuss today about the various types of bonding or kinds of bonding. So we are discussing about types of bonding. Types of bonding. So there are various types of bonding found in compounds, chemical compounds. But here right now we are discussing about mainly 5 types of bonding. Mainly we will discuss about 5 types of bonding. First one is ionic bonding, or it is also called electrovalent bonding. Second one is covalent bonding. Third one is coordinate bonding, or it is also called coordinate covalent bonding, or it is also called dative bonding. Now the fourth one is hydrogen bonding. And the last one is metallic bonding. So these are the 5 types of bonding which we are going to see in our segments, in our this segment and next segments. So in case of ionic and electrovalent bond, that is we are going to discuss. While discussing covalent bond, we will further consider about polar covalent compounds and non-polar covalent compounds. We will see 2 types of covalent compounds, that is polar and non-polar. Further, in case of hydrogen bonding, we will see 2 types of hydrogen bonding, that is intermolecular hydrogen bonding and intramolecular hydrogen bonding. So further we will see 2 types of bondings, intermolecular and intramolecular. So we have to see 5 types of bonding, and these 5 types of bonding are categorized by the mechanism by which they are formed. So according to the mechanism behind the chemical bonds and behind the mechanism involved behind the chemical bond formation. So the chemical bonds can be of 5 types. First one is ionic, also called electrovalent bonding. Second one is covalent bonding, which is formed due to share of electrons. Further we will discuss about polar and non-polar covalent compounds. The third one is coordinate covalent bond, or it is also called dative bonding. Fourth one is hydrogen bonding, and in this further we will see 2 categories, intermolecular and intramolecular, and the last one is metallic bonding. So these are the 5 types of bonding which we will discuss in our coming topics. So firstly we are starting from the first one, that is ionic or electrovalent bonding. The first one is first bonding, that is ionic or electrovalent bonding. So this is the first bonding which we have to discuss. So basically it is called ionic bonding because it is formed between 2 oppositely charged ions, that is positively charged cation and negatively charged anion. Further it is called electrovalent bonding because the 2 oppositely charged ions are held by electrostatic force of attraction. So we have discussed the points. So the very first point is that this type of bonding is formed between a metal and a non-metal. It is formed between a metal and a non-metal. The second one is it is formed between a electropositive element and a electronegative element. So we know that metals are called electropositive elements and non-metals are called electronegative elements. The third one is it is formed between cation and anion, and because it is formed between two oppositely charged ions, this is why it is called ionic bonding. Fourth point, it is called electrovalent bonding because the ions are linked together by electrostatic force of attraction. Electrostatic force of attraction, and so it is called electrovalent bonding, and just because of this it is called electrovalent bonding. And the fourth one is, and the last point about this type of bonding is, ionic bond is formed when the electronegativity difference is large. Whenever the electronegativity difference will be large, there is a greater possibility of formation of ionic bonding. So these are some of the important features of ionic or electrovalent bonding. So the first one is metal, and it is always formed between a metal and a non-metal. Or we can say that it is formed between an electropositive element and electronegative element. Metal is called electropositive element and non-metal is called electronegative element. So we can see that metals are electron donors and non-metals are electron acceptors. The third one is it will always form between a cation and an ion. So the cation and an ion are linked together and forms ionic bonding. So since it is formed between two oppositely charged ions, so it is called ionic bonding. The next point, it is called electrovalent bonding because the two oppositely charged ions are linked together by electrostatic force of attraction, and so from electrostatic word it is called electrovalent bonding. And the last point is, for the formation of ionic or electrovalent bonding, the electronegativity difference between the combining atoms should be large, should be greater. So these are some of the points related to ionic or electrovalent bonding. First one is it is always formed between a metal and a non-metal. Metal is always electron donor and non-metal is always electron acceptor. Or we can say that it is always formed between an electropositive element and an electronegative element. Metals are called electropositive element and non-metals are called electronegative elements. Or we can say that it is formed between a cation and an anion, and so since it is formed between two oppositely charged ions, so it is called ionic bonding. The next point, it is called electrovalent bonding because the two ions, that is cation and anion, are linked together by electrostatic force of attraction, and from the electrostatic word it is called electrovalent bonding. And the last one is, for the formation of ionic or electrovalent bonding, the electronegativity difference between the two combining atoms should be large, should be greater. The more is the electronegativity difference between the two combining atoms, greater is the possibility of formation of ionic bond or electrovalent bond. So this was the introduction about electrovalent bonding. Next is ionic or electrovalent compounds. Ionic, or what do you mean by ionic or electrovalent compounds? So the compounds formed by ionic or electrovalent bonding is called ionic or electrovalent compound. For example, NaCl, KCl, KBr, CaF2, CaO, calcium oxide, MgO, etc. These are some of the examples of ionic or electrovalent bonding. So basically, how we can predict whether the given compound is ionic or not? So whenever there is an ionic or electrovalent bonding, the two combining atoms, out of the two combining atoms, the first one will always be a metal, second will be a non-metal. First one will be metal, second will be non-metal. First one will be metal, second will be non-metal. So this is the combination, like in NaCl we have metal, non-metal, metal, non-metal, metal, non-metal, metal, non-metal, metal, non-metal, metal, non-metal. So if in the given compound, the first part, that is the first atom, is metal and the second one is non-metal, so whenever we have such compounds, it will always be a ionic compound or electrovalent compound, because it is always formed between a metal and a non-metal. So basically what we mean by ionic or electrovalent compound? The compounds which are formed by ionic or electrovalent bonding is called ionic or electrovalent compound. How we can judge whether the given compound is ionic or electrovalent? For doing that, the first atom has to be metal and the second atom has to be non-metal. Like in case of NaCl we have metal, non-metal, sodium is metal, chlorine is non-metal, potassium is metal, chlorine is non-metal. So whenever we have this combination, that is the first atom is metal and the second one is non-metal, it will always be a electrovalent compound or ionic compound. So here are some examples of ionic or electrovalent compounds. Now let us move towards next topic, that is representation of ionic, or we can say electrovalent, representation of ionic or electrovalent bond. So how we can represent the actual mechanism given behind the formation of ionic or electrovalent compounds? So we are going to represent the ionic or electrovalent bonding, and to explain its actual mechanism, what is the process involved behind the formation of bonding. So basically, when we are representing ionic or electrovalent compounds, so three types of representations are possible for representing ionic or electrovalent bonding. That is, the first one is equation method, that is in forms of equations like we have in maths. Second one is electron dot structure, and the third one is electron orbital diagram. So we saw about ionic bonding, we saw about ionic compounds. Now we are going to discuss about the representations, the various types of representation which can be used for the explanation of mechanism involved behind ionic or electrovalent bonding. So three types of representations are given for the formation of ionic or electrovalent bonding. First one is equation method, that we can write in the forms of equations like we have in maths. Second one is electron dot structure, and the third one is electron orbital diagram. So these are the three types of representations which we can have for the formation of ionic or electrovalent bonding. So we will discuss all the three one by one. So we are going to discuss about first one, that is equation method, how we can explain the formation of ionic bond in the form of equations, and we are going to take the example of NaCl, sodium chloride, common salt. We will take the example of that. So in NaCl we know that sodium is our metal which is electron donor, and chlorine is non-metal which is electron acceptor. In case of NaCl, sodium electronic configuration 281 will donate this outermost electron. Donation is always represented by minus sign. This minus sign represents donation of electron. How much electron is donated? 1 electron, and it is converted into Na plus cation, and its configuration becomes 2,8. Outermost shell 8 electron, octet completed. Now the chlorine atom, outermost configuration 287, accepts this electron, this one electron, and gets converted into Cl minus chloride ion. This plus sign represents acceptance of electron. Now this one electron is accepted. Now it becomes 288 because it was already having 7 electrons in outermost shell. Now the two ions, that is Na plus ion and Cl minus ion, which we have, they are linked together by electrostatic force of attraction. These lines show electrostatic force of attraction, and it leads to the formation of NaCl compound. So this was the first method, that is equation method, given for the explanation of ionic bonding. So we took the example of NaCl. In NaCl, sodium is metal, that is electron donor, and chlorine is non-metal, that is electron acceptor. So sodium electronic configuration 281. This one electron which is present in the outermost shell is lost by sodium. Lost donation is represented by minus sign. One electron is donated. Now it has only 28 electrons, and it is converted into Na plus cation. And chlorine electronic configuration 287 accepts this electron and gets converted into Cl minus ion. So both are stable because they have 8 electrons in their outermost shell. Now sodium ion, cation, and Cl minus anion, they are linked by electrostatic force of attraction and leads to the formation of NaCl. Thank you guys.